Previously on Ace Attorney Investigations, Edgeworth speaking, and all aboard the logic train as I tell you what happened last time. After returning to my office from a trip abroad, I discovered a body lying in my mess of an office. What's the meaning of this? And my tea set was destroyed. Gumshoe and I identified the victim as Detective Buddy Faith. 2 gunshots were clearly fired, but the revolver we found is only missing a single bullet. We also discovered the culprit's motive was to steal from my secret safe. Then some muscle-bound airhead frat boy stormed into the crime scene and started accusing me of the murder.
I'm Jock Portsman.
After rearranging the files and a few screw-ups that weren't my fault, we found a contradiction. We know that the files were not in this order when the crime occurred. What could this mean? What did the culprit wish to take from my office? Find out on Ace Attorney Investigations. Next! Aha! So that's it. I believe the killer made the same incorrect assumption as you just did, Detective. Let's rearrange the files in numerical order and see what we find out.
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, do you think it'd be okay to prop the body back up to how it was before it was moved?
They finished processing the crime scene, so I don't see why it wouldn't be. If you please, Detective Gumshoe.
All right, no problem, pal. Oh, God, this thing's heavy.
As I suspected, the bullet hole is now where it should logically be. The killer went through my files first before shooting Mr. Faith.
And then put the files back in numerical order, I guess.
Exactly. And then proceeded to shoot the victim.
But why would someone kill a man and then look through your files one more time?
Puzzling indeed. The files were thrown into disarray twice, once before and once after the crime. But why? Now the crime scene is as it was at the time of the murder. Time to give it another look. What exactly is this over here? This!
Oh, gee, Mr. Edgeworth, I don't like it when you... What is that? Why does it say Gumshoe on there in blood?
I'd say it's some incredibly incriminating evidence.
Yes, indicative of criminal activity indeed.
Oh, hell no! Hold on! Wait a minute! There's gotta be some mistake! Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Help me! Say something, sir!
It appears that one of my files was stolen.
Who cares about the files? What about me and my situation?
Is this what the killer was really after?
Oh, I can't go to jail. I worked my whole life not doing that!
One step closer to the truth.
Looks like Jim was able to leave us the name of his killer in the end. And this most important message managed to reach us.
I'm telling you, it wasn't me!
You can't be terribly pleased to hear that your beloved partner is the guilty party.
If you are going to accuse Detective Gumshoe of being the culprit, I sincerely hope you have some proof to back it up.
Jim's words. They're more than that, wouldn't you say?
If that's how you want to play it, then at least allow me to understand your reasoning.
You got it.
I don't like this one bit. There's something strange about this man's attitude. And there must be some sort of flaw to his logic waiting for me to dig out.
Mr. Edgeworth, what are you gonna do?
What I always do in court, I'm going to cross-examine him. One way or another, I'll expose the flaw in his logic with this technique.
Oh, okay. How do you do that? Can you explain it to me, sir?
Well, for you and the people playing at home, I might as well. Alright. First, I listen to the witness's testimony. If I find a flaw in the testimony, something that contradicts the evidence, I open the organizer and present the piece of contradictory evidence. To present something, I simply touch the present button, but that's old news.
But it's not like there's gonna be a flaw in their testimony every time, right?
Correct. And at those times, I need to press the witness by touching the press button. Sometimes, by pressing, I can draw out new information and new or modified testimony.
Okay, I think I get it, sir. I'll be sure to try this technique out during investigations, too.
Very well. I'll even show you how it's done. Now watch carefully. This shan't be too difficult, dear Gumshoe.
Detective Gumshoe, you stole Jim's gun from him and shot him dead. Further, you messed up the files to make it look like you had committed theft instead. That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. But thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. And it will be by his final words that you will be brought to justice.
You intend to argue that the victim's dying message points to his killer?
I can hear Jim's voice, and he's calling for his killer's arrest.
Are you sure you're not mishearing his words, Mr. Portsman? There is no way Detective Gumshoe is the culprit here. I will find the flaw in this man's logic, and expose it with credible evidence. Dear me, Mr. Portsman, you make this almost too easy. Objection! Perhaps you're not aware, Mr. Portsman, but there is a serious flaw in your logic.
Bringing a bit of the courtroom into this, I see. No problem. I'm game.
I can't help but find it odd.
Excuse me?
Odd that a fellow prosecutor would be brought down by the power of his own office.
What are you talking about? Oh, you're joking. I get it.
If you have the time to laugh, then you have the time to take another closer look at this. Do you still not see? If not, may I direct your attention to the missing file?
What? That's impossible!
What's impossible, Mr. Portsman?
Nothing.
The files on that shelf are all about a certain case. When the killer went to take the file after murdering your partner, I highly doubt they could have missed the bloody letters written on the spines.
Objection! It's possible that they could have taken the file before committing the murder.
I think it's pretty obvious that the file was stolen after it was written on. The missing letters in the detective's name where the file should be is proof.
Yeah, I mean, the S is gone, and there's only half an H.
If Detective Gumshoe really was the culprit of this case, I highly doubt that even he could overlook his own name written in blood on those files. Especially as a detective who can't stand the sight of blood.
He ain't kidding. That shit makes me woozy.
Gasp!
Which means what exactly? What does it make this dying message anyhow?
It makes it the work of a criminal intent on tampering with the crime scene.
That's so low! I can't believe the criminal tried to pin this whole thing on me, sir! I'm gonna get him, sir! You'll see! I'm gonna have him under arrest in no time!
Well, Mr. Portsman.
Brilliant, absolutely splendid. Logic deserving of Olympic gold.
I appreciate the praise, but it doesn't change the fact that your reasoning is flawed.
Meh, you win some and you lose some. That's how life goes.
Glad everyone's so cheery, even though I feel more dead than alive.
But you know, it really is a shame. I really didn't want to bring this up. However...
Huh?
What is it this time? Are you still after me, pal?
Humor me for a second. Who has the key to this office?
Well, that would be me. But Mr. Edgeworth just proved that I'm innocent, pal.
Where did that jacket come from?
That's absolutely right, and I acknowledge your innocence.
Then why do I sense that you still have something to say? Don't do that. Please.
Well, I was thinking, did you know there is one other person with the key to this office?
One other person?
Hey, you there!
Sí, señor. ¿Qué quiere, señor?
Would you kindly fetch and escort that lovely young lady here for me?
A lady?
The girl's a member of this building's security. Think of her as a material witness.
Security? Did you say security? No, stop it, pal. Don't do it.
What's wrong with him all of a sudden?
Don't get Maggie, don't get Maggie, don't get Maggie, don't get me. Oh, shit.
I believe she needs no introduction. I have called upon Miss Maggey Byrde, a member of security.
Detective Gumshoe, sir.
Maggie!
Miss Byrde is the security guard on watch tonight.
I see. And your point is?
My point is that she could very well have used it. And by it, I mean the master key, which can open all the office doors in this building.
What?
If you are not the guilty party, Detective Gumshoe, then the only other person with access to this room is Miss Byrde.
How dare you! I would never sneak into someone's room!
That's right! I refuse to believe Maggie's the culprit, pal! It was me! That's right, I did it!
Can we take that as a confession, Detective?
Well, it wasn't really me, but it definitely wasn't Maggie, pal! So yeah, it was me, so what? You have no problems with that, right?
Please refrain from flying off the handle, Detective. There's no need for such theatrics.
Listen to your boss, Detective. He knows what I'm saying here. That girl is the only one who could have committed the crime, and for one simple reason. It's pretty obvious that Miss Byrde snuck into your room using the master key. I mean, if Detective Gumshoe isn't the one who opened the door, then that leaves only Miss Byrde as our prime suspect. On top of which, she also knows our good detective, doesn't she? Making it all the more probable that she was the one who faked the dying message.
So you're saying she used the master key? Best keep track of that fact.
Incredibly incriminating evidence, wouldn't you say?
Not nearly as incriminating as that coat you're wearing. That's what you claimed about the evidence earlier as well.
That was then, this is now. The flow of a good match always changes during a rally. It's all about your reflexes and reaction time, especially for an athlete like me.
I wonder if there was anyone else other than Miss Byrde who could have used the master key. It seems that the only way to get Mr. Portsman to give me more details is to press him. It's obvious that he's lying through his overly chemically whitened teeth, but how to catch him in it? One of these statements is hiding more information behind it. I just have to figure out which one it is.
I don't know about you guys, but this douchebag with his white coat looks like some sort of preacher or something. Well, whatever he's preaching about Maggie, you take that preach and shove it right up his—
Hold it! Don't you think it's a bit early to be jumping to conclusions?
Are you saying there's another way to open the door other than with the master key? Oh, I get it. Perhaps you had a spare made for someone else.
I'll have you know, I have never made a spare. So what are you insinuating?
Nothing. Guess I should have known better than to suggest that someone like you would.
Oh, really? Your charm isn't fooling me for 1 second. Hold it! Are you sure Mrs. Byrde is the only member of security who could have used the master key?
There's only one person on staff at this time of night, and tonight, she's it. Isn't that right, Miss Byrde?
That's, true. But I wasn't able to use the master key at the time of the crime, sir.
Wasn't able to? What's that supposed to mean?
Yes. Moving on. I'd hate to get sidetracked by something unrelated.
Hey, what do you mean unrelated? I want to hear what she has to say, pal!
But you can't really trust her not to tell lies. Plus, I hate wasting time.
Should I hear Miss Byrde out? Of course. Not so fast. I too am interested in hearing what Miss Byrde has to say.
Didn't I just say it'd be a waste of time? We don't need to hear her lies.
I'll be the judge of that. Miss Byrde, if you please.
I discovered that the master key was missing at around 1 a.m., sir.
What do you mean by missing?
As in, it wasn't anywhere in the security booth, sir. The killer must have stolen it.
Mr. Portsman, I believe this to be an important piece of testimony, don't you?
I can't believe someone like you would be taken in by such words.
I'm not lying, sir.
Objection!
If that's the case, then I'd like to know why you have the master key now.
I don't quite know. It just reappeared all of a sudden, sir.
Ha, a likely story. And where is your proof that the key was stolen to begin with? I bet you just forgot where you put it and then found it again.
I never never lose things. I can practically guarantee that. With me, if something disappears, it's usually because someone stole it.
Yeah, pal, trust me. You don't want to test how bad her luck is.
Unfortunately, I can't deem this piece of testimony as conclusive.
Glad you agree, Mr. Edgeworth.
But, you still haven't established Maggie's motive for breaking into Mr. Edgeworth's office!
Her motive? Didn't we already establish that it was theft? I mean, the culprit clearly went through the bookshelves and at least tried the safe.
It is as Mr. Portsman says, Detective. I can't ignore the fact that all the evidence points toward a motive of theft. But I'm done taking blows. It's time to counterattack with a few facts of my own.
Her intent? From the messed up bookshelves to the wiped out safe, I'd say thievery.
You know, there's something interesting about that safe you should know. Exactly why are you flapping your coat like that? Is it some sort of mating dance? Objection! Do you wish to continue insisting that Miss Byrde was set on stealing something?
Why not? It's the truth, after all. It was also by your logic we came to the whole thievery conclusion anyway.
That may be, but you must also be aware of the fact that the safe is a secret safe. The existence of which is only privy to prosecutors. I find it a little hard to believe that a hidden safe was a part of her cunning plan.
But she could have found it by accident while she was turning everything else upside down.
I highly doubt that. I'd say the culprit knew exactly what they were looking for. After all, only the bookshelf and the safe were targeted.
Yeah, even I didn't know about that safe, pal. And I don't really know a whole lot of things, but that means there's no way Maggie could have known about it either.
Then, are you proposing that the killer is a prosecutor?
Interesting conclusion. That's definitely looking more and more probable. What's wrong, prosecutor? Do you have a different suspect in mind now?
Curses! Why? What made you...
Whoa, what's with the angry face all of a sudden?
It's all my fault.
What do you mean?
It's Jim. He knew about the existence of the secret safes.
Huh? What did you just say?
We were partners, like inseparable conjoined twins. That's why I told him. I filled him in on the secret safes.
And that means...
Yeah, I know. I had only just told him too. Obviously, it was wrong of me to tell him. I still can't quite believe it. But the thief who broke into your room was probably Jim.
Now he's claiming that the victim was also the thief?
And you were simply trying to stop him, weren't you? Miss Maggey Byrde.
Excuse me?
Huh?
I mean, you are a security guard, right? That's your job. But killing is going a bit too far, even in your risky profession.
What the? You're still accusing Maggie of the murder?
Yes and no. I mean, she had stumbled upon Jim, who had probably drawn his gun. I get it! It was self-defense, wasn't it?
No! I couldn't... I could never do something like that. Not even as a security guard, sir.
Plus, even if he was the thief, he wouldn't have a key to the office.
Which is precisely why he had to steal it, wouldn't you say? It was Jim who stole the master key. Pretty impossible for a supposedly stolen key to be here with us. Unless you retrieved it from Jim after you killed him.
Mr. Portsman, are you honestly accusing your own partner of being a thief?
I don't want to admit it, but it's the only way for everything else to make sense.
Has he no honor?
Now then, I think we're done here. The investigation waits for no man. Would you people be so kind to see yourselves out?
You can't kick us out! This is Mr. Edgeworth's office!
But I'm the one who's been assigned to this case. You are all suspects to varying degrees, and therefore ineligible to run this show.
Listen, pal, how many times do I have to say this? Maggie can't be the culprit!
Detective Gumshoe, calm yourself.
But sir!
We have no choice but to accommodate his request. For now.
Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. At least one of you understands. Now then, if you could remove yourselves from my crime scene, I'd be most grateful.
Mark my words, Mr. Portsman. We will meet again.
If that's a formal request from the legendary prosecutor himself, then I suppose so. Now don't you disappoint me, you hear?
What is with that prosecutor? I can't believe how rude he was! It was unbelievable!
Please maintain your professionalism, Detective.
I'm gonna find some real solid evidence proving Maggie's innocence. You'll see, sir!
But we've been kicked out of the crime scene, sir.
Well, that's true. So then what now?
Looks like my life's fallen into yet another gigantic ditch.
Do not despair, Miss Byrde. We can overcome this as well. There are many other places and things we should be looking into anyway.
Huh? Really, sir?
For example, this hallway. The linchpin of his argument against Miss Byrde is related to the master key. In that case, this hallway is the perfect place to look for more information regarding the mystery surrounding my door. Come along, Gumshoe. Time to save your girlfriend. Best ask my colleague if he's seen anything.
It looks like you're in quite the pitch, Mr. Edgeworth.
To be sure, a murder within the walls of the prosecutor's office is no trifling matter. We must find, apprehend, and punish the killer accordingly post-haste.
Sounds like a messy case you've got on your hands. If you ever feel lost or need some advice, my door is always open.
How gracious. I will keep your offer in mind. Who is this guy again?
I'm Winston Payne, bitch!
What is a basketball hoop doing here?
Hey, didn't this used to be just outside next to the building a long time ago?
So when and why was it moved indoors?
I don't remember exactly, but I saw one of the officers drag it up here recently.
Drag it?
I heard that it wouldn't fit in the elevator, so the poor guy had to bring it in himself.
All the way up to the 12th floor? Someone's a bit of a basketball nut. Probably Sharks.
Is everything a nook and cranny?
Not a word out of you, Gumshoe. Huh? It's...
Isn't that the missing zero file, sir?
No doubt about it. The bloody letters mark it clear as day. There seem to be a few pages missing. Our thief took only what was necessary and left the rest behind.
So what are these zero files about, sir? I guess they got something worth stealing in them, huh?
Not particularly. It's just a collection of court case files. However, the cases within these files are not mine.
Huh?
They belong to the high prosecutor that used to occupy my current office. I have my reasons, but let's just say I was charged with keeping them as they were.
Then that means the thief must have also wanted the file for a specific reason, right?
It would seem so. Only the pages related to that case from 10 years ago are missing.
I wonder why anyone would care about such an old case.
Anything else important around here? A well-crafted, high-quality sofa for visitors. The stitching is excellent.
Talk about a luxury waiting area. These babies are also great for napping, you know.
You would sleep even out here, Detective? In a hallway?
Whenever I do, I always wind up dreaming about giving testimony up on the stand. But it always ends the same way. Me getting trounced by a lawyer. Isn't that awful?
Maybe I should give it a try sometime. To envision myself winning, naturally. Seem to have found all the information I can here. I wonder if I can logic some connections together. Files and a gun. No, there's nothing there. I need a little more information before I can continue. Where else might I find evidence?
I thought it was cool when you said it the first time. Not sure about now.
1202. These 4 numbers on a number plate alone proclaim this to be my office.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. Let me... Oh, whoops. Hey, these number plates slide right out, sir.
They have to be able to take them off the plate when a room becomes vacant, you know. Although, the idea that it can be so easily removed is kind of disturbing. I don't see any signs of forced entry.
And according to the guard, no signs of the lock was picked either, sir.
Meaning that the door really was opened with a key. Did you happen to ask if any prints were lifted from the doorknob?
Apparently the doorknob's clean as a whistle. They think it was wiped.
Whoever this thief is, they did a good job of not leaving any clues behind. Damn it. This is my tutorial case. It's supposed to be easier than this. This office.
Let me see. 1203, 123. Hey, Maggie, whose room is this again?
It's Mr. Portman, sir.
So he's my new neighbor. I see. I suppose he moved in while I was away overseas? What is a basketball doing here?
That's Mr. Portsman's prized possession, sir. I heard he also plays soccer, dodgeball, and even tennis.
And not a single one of those sports is suitable to be played in a hallway.
A real athlete. More like an athlete to me. Right? Anyone? No.
I was wondering if I may speak with you for a bit concerning this case.
I've always been a big fan of the courtroom, but this is like a dream. A dream where I'm being cross-examined by the Miles
I
Edgeworth.
can't let this chance pass me by. I must remember to ask her about the master key. I should jog her memory by showing my notes to her through the present button. Next time on Ace Attorney Investigations!
The prosecutor forgot his key. It was Mr. Portsman, sir.
So why was Mr. Portsman so particular about getting room 1202? The door Miss Byrde opened wasn't this one at all, but a completely different one.
Objection! Objection! Hold it! Hold it! Eureka! Take that! Take that!
Let's start project.